Good morning, welcome to United View. Welcome to the morning view. Owen just in my ears there. Don't know if he's got new headphones or he's tweaked the equalizer. He's going the bass, the treble, the mids. It sounds perfect.
No, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Yeah. So recently I've started wearing these. I've started wearing my Beats. Yeah. And you get better sound. You block off everything else. I can't hear anything. I can just hear you. I can just focus on the chat. You know, it's very comfortable. You know, it's probably, it feels like podcasting, doesn't it? You know what I mean? I've got my big oversized hoodie on. It's winter. It's cold in here. You know what I mean? I've got the microphone near me. Lovely stuff.
Proper poddy. Other headphones suppliers are available. If anybody is watching and has a startup company with headphones or middle of the range headphones or top end, you know, we wear all types of headphones here at UV to monitor our sound. There you go.
Maybe
big up to you guys, man.
I hate AirPods.
Apple, if you're watching, you know, I have mine in. If you want to, you know, want me to test certain ones, sponsor the show, they're okay. They work. It depends how you use them.
Imagine we just went one day, sponsored by Apple.
Oh my, we'd have made it. You wouldn't see me. You wouldn't see me. I'll be in where are they from? California, innit? I'll be there.
Yeah, we've been Silicon Valley, you know, Flex big meetings.
You wouldn't see me. Mate, if we got a sponsorship from Apple, you can't see me. You can't see me, mate. I'm gone. But big up. No, back to real life, back to reality, back to the community, and back to you guys. Happy Tuesday, man. Happy Tuesday. I think I'd like to think we're starting to move on from the Liverpool situation. Well, certain fans and certain media outlets probably still won't because they want something to talk about. But we're done with it. We gave them their fun. Well, we spoiled their fun, which was really interesting. Towards the end of the show, we'll maybe talk about or share some stories about, you know, just what that looked like. I've seen TalkSport or Gabby Agbon-Lahore. Actually, here's one for you. TalkSport, clip this. Flex slams Gabby Agbon-Lahore versus. That's what we're going to change the thumbnail to afterwards. Because when I finish talking about him, heated debates. Flex slams Gabby. Yeah, I've got some words for him. So I know you guys were big up to the community, by the way, because everyone was at me on Twitter, having my back, saying, Flex, he's not mentioning names, but we know it's you. Be aware, Flex. Don't you worry. Don't go anywhere, Gabby. Don't go anywhere. But no, more importantly, to what we actually need to talk about at the top of the show, Quiet January. Mike Keegan has been talking on a podcast, just talking about what Manchester United could expect to do versus what they can't expect to do in January. Obviously, a lot of us want some signings. A lot of us feel like we need reinforcements. But I suppose depending on where you sit with everything, you might have got your head around why we can't do that. But the reason why might not be the reason why you thought. Luke Shaw has had an interesting interview, I think, with Betfred, which was quite random. Betfred getting access.
I don't know where it came from, yeah.
So weird. I don't know. We have to double check that. But what I saw from it was Betfred. And also Mike Keegan, the infamous INEOS. Could it be INEOS before Christmas? Could it be INEOS before Christmas? So plenty to get into. Plenty to get into. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let us know where you're watching from. Straight off the bat, as you can do as a member, you can get your members chats in, or you can send a super chat, or you can get involved in the comment section. So plenty of ways for you guys to get involved. Nathan Joseph, been a member for 11 months as well, says happy holidays to everyone in the chat and the UV crew. Health and success to everyone for 2024. Thanks for all the content. Panenka. Love that, Nathan. That's just
over a year old now, by the way, Panenka.
I know.
Because it was the World Cup final yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, wasn't it? And
I was saying to Josh yesterday, I need to, like, you know, when it comes up in your phone about a year ago, whatever. It was the World Cup final. I need to post some memories. I'm a day out, but I need to do that.
Yeah, Panenka. I mean, that was, what game was that? Was Morocco's
No,
Spain.
It wasn't. It was semi-final or quarter. Was it? That was quarter-final.
No, because it was a
semi-final. They played against France. I was there.
Was it? Yeah, so I mean, but the Panenka was against Spain.
That was against Spain, yeah, but I went in the final.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm saying,
I thought you
but
said it
I'm
was in
saying
the
that.
final.
Yeah, I'm saying that's over a year old now.
Oh,
Panenka.
yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, that
Okay.
was a wild couple of weeks.
Hakimi Panenka's in.
that was a very strange couple of weeks for absolutely no, United news going on at the time, and screaming in the flat, at the television screen. Tremendous stuff.
Yeah. Morning UV family says crafty skills. Let's get some of the comments out. So you guys, we're not lying when we say you can get involved in the regular comments right here. Morocco versus Spain, Pen says Lil Yo-Yo. Agbon La Fraud says Lil Yo-Yo as well. Daniel Luciano says yesterday's show was amazing. Really enjoyed that. And CH says Flex sold 25% of UV to Apple. I want to announce that I am going to look for strategic
alternatives.
What is it? Strategic alternatives, partial or full sale of United View, and maybe it might be Apple of 25%. There you go.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to Gabby Ogbonlahor, actually, as well, if you do want to hear KG's comments on him, you can check it out on the Full View yesterday because he started the show off hot.
Yeah, he did. He
did start the show off hot.
I know. He's just when he's just emotional, that's just how he is, isn't it?
But I'm such a stirrer, Flex, honestly, because you know what I'm like as well. I sent him the clip, and I literally sent him the clip, and I went, I'm just leaving this here.
Yeah. Straight
away called me, what's this? What's this? And then I go, no, KG, man, it's terrible, isn't it? First they're saying you don't celebrate enough. Now they're saying you celebrate too much. He went, you're right. That is what they're saying about me. I got him so stirred up. And then Full View, he was ready. Perfect.
And you know what, actually? I'll put this to you. I know. I'll put this to you lot, actually. This is just maybe a poll in the chat. Maybe we listen to, not maybe we listen to the viewers. We should. Would you guys like to see, and I can't guarantee it, I've got a good chance of it, but he might be busy. Would you guys like to see Gabby on here for Aston Villa preview? And it could go one of two ways, either to get him to be accountable and for me to grill him and tell him about himself. Or are you like, no, Flex, don't have him on here. He's disrespected United too much. We don't want him on here. What do you guys want? What do you want?
I'd love to see Gabby.
Hell no. No.
I'd love to see Gabby versus KG. I'd love it. I really, really would. Because KG last night, I mean, even Cam had a bit of a needle at him, and KG fired back strong against Cam, saying you can't comment about, because he basically said that Amrabat was playing in midfield, was like KG playing in midfield. And then KG reminded Cam and he went, look, I've seen you play football. So we can't really talk about technical abilities.
Because you know what the weird thing is as well, is like, obviously the way people are in the media and the things they say, especially like prime talk sport on the big shows, obviously, they're riding that wave and they've got a certain criteria to hit, sweet spot to hit of doing exactly this, saying stuff that makes us get angry or talk about it. I do actually get on with him, like personally, like he will message me, we exchange numbers, like before he went on the radio and said what he said, he messaged me to sort of say, I'm going to give you a little dig. Like we do have that relationship. But let people know. Nubian Pharaoh, what is this? What is this? What is this? We will do a poll in 2 seconds.
I don't even have my soundboard connected. I wish I did.
What is this?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nubian Pharaoh has come
through
for
Apple
again.
Nubian, by any chance?
Do you have any links to Apple? Nubian Pharaoh says, checking in early today. Looking forward to the show rundown. Season's greetings. A £200 super chat. Aminor as well. Aminor always here. Owen, please refer Cam to Mind after Iniesta comments. Thank you for the super chat, Aminor. Always here supporting the channel as well. Big up to Aminor. And everybody else who always puts super chats as well. Nubian Pharaoh, I don't know how you do it, but honestly, the support you're showing the channel is invaluable. So big up to you.
And season's greetings to you, Nubian Pharaoh, as well. Hope everyone has happy holidays.
Exactly. And actually, on that note, looking forward to the show rundown. There you go. Let's do it, actually.
Let's do a show.
I will put a poll up. We will put a poll up about Gabby. Should you want him on or not? And that poll will lead. You get to choose of whether I ask him. He might be busy, but I'm sure I can get him on. Right. Owen, first up, what we got? No January signings. We're poor.
INEOS. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's 25% of Manchester United is now reportedly not expected to be announced until the week after next. Obviously, it had been reported previously that the hope was that it would have been announced prior to the Bayern Munich game last week. But they're saying that, legal structural matters push the date back. But should these matters remain unresolved, the upcoming Christmas break, they're saying an announcement could possibly be pushed into the new year. There is some rumors possibly we could see a situation that we might not actually have the deal in place till what they're saying January, February, because of those sort of 4 to 8 weeks and all that kind of stuff. But it's when we get into transfer signings, isn't it? That's leading to a lot of people being concerned, because the suggestion is that when it comes to the takeover stuff, Mike Keegan has said that actually when it comes to January plans, the takeover is not really related to that, suggesting that the only real movements in January could be some outgoings. We know about Donny van der Beek. We know about possibly Jadon Sancho, but they're saying, Flex, that's about it. And saying because of strict FFP measures, it's looking very unlikely United are going to do any business in January. Now, do you think we're just going to get no one in January? Because it was kind of the same situation last year, was it not? When they were like, look, January, it ain't happening. And then push comes to shove, couple of loans here and there. Yeah. So do you think we're going to be looking at a similar situation, do you think?
I think it's quite, in terms of us doing anything in January, I always envisioned no. More so because of the takeover situation and what's going to change and what's going to happen. Also, the types of situations that we're in financially, I'm always aware of that. I was aware of it last year. The club told me last year. Club this year, when I say even this year, the other week when I was there, and in general, again, have reinstated to me pretty much what Mike Keegan's been told there. The club also said that they're not actively trying to sell sort of the likes of Casemiro or Varane, but and Martial, but if obviously his contract's going to run down anyway. But if a huge offer comes in for certain players, obviously they will look at it. I took that as, I mean, it's interesting with the Varane situation now as well, actually, with the last couple of games and then the news that's happened since then. You're now looking at it saying he has to stay till the end of the season and help us. But if the right money, if we triggered the extension for him, which adds a year of value, and then someone from Saudi wanted to buy him in January for huge money, would have to say yes, in my opinion. Even though that would leave us looking a bit weird, but that would be part of the bigger reshuffle of what Man United needs to look like in a more healthy situation. But he is our best defender. We are better when he plays. And you could look at it like saying, listen, no matter what, just keep him till the summer. So that's a separate argument. Back to the January situation. I get it with the FFP. The types of players we're trying to maybe get rid of. So the Jadon Sancho situation, I think there's a willingness from all parties to help him move on. And he wants to get out. I was getting sort of noises that they want it to be abroad rather than go somewhere in the Prem. Not because Jadon Sancho is going to light it up and we're going to regret it, but I think they would just prefer that. And I think that is possible, very possible. Maybe Italy. And the rest is like how much in terms of like a loan signing, like we did with Sabitzer and Weghorst. Maybe like if something becomes available, I could see because if you think about it, it would be short term. So it's nothing that's going to like sort of piss INEOS off where it's like, we're stuck with this player on a big contract. We can't do this. We can't do that. Maybe if they get in before Christmas or in the January bit, they could sort of green light a couple of loans just to help out. So I don't think it's impossible that we get the 3 million Weghorst or the Sabitzer, those kind of embarrassing ones. Yeah. I saw Manchester Evening News kind of speak about the Igalo thing, Maybe not because didn't he get an 18-month contract, something like that? Not
that was because of COVID as well, didn't it? It got sort of extended and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're saying, I mean, when you look at it, and this came from not an article, it must be stressed, by Mike Keegan. He was talking to like the Mail's like sports podcast sort of thing, and he was saying that United could finally confirm this investment before Christmas, which is a week yesterday, right? So in the next 6 days, but and I think it's almost sort of tempering expectations a bit as well. So if you're expecting, right, INEOS are going to be in, so suddenly boom, we're going to be doing big things in January. They're just like, look, that's just not going to happen at all. The FFP situation is kind of almost irrelevant to all of the takeover stuff that's going on at the moment. So if you're expecting big reinforcements when it comes to that, just don't. I did think it was quite interesting, his quote, when he talked about when this announcement could be. He said, the hope is still that it gets announced before Christmas in the coming days, were the words given to me. I have a decent source in the US, and they believe the next few days is realistic. One caveat to that is the approval process will take between 6 to 8 weeks. United fans listening might think the transfer window is out of the question. The transfer window, I am told, do not expect big moves from Manchester United, and that has nothing to do with the takeover. This is to do with financial fair play and the balance sheet. I'm told the bits of business you can expect are Jadon Sancho out on loan if they can find the right move for him, and Donny van der Beek, a loan move out for him. I think he's in Frankfurt today, so that one's probably, he's having a medical. We've already got the here we go. But he also continues by saying it's not like this gets announced and then all of a sudden all of these players that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's group have got lined up, they come in. So they're basically saying that obviously it would be good to get this done and start moving these pieces into place. CEO, sporting directors, all of the above, hopefully improvements to Carrington. I mean, look, it's been pledged 250 million, which, as we've said before, not to sound piggish, is really in the grander scheme of footballing things and how much money United actually need for investment is, we're talking fractions of what actually United actually need. But it's not going to be 250 million on players. And even if we could, we can't because of FFP as well. So yeah, it's still pretty going to be pretty quiet, certainly in January. He also says, saying about this 250 million that's been invested, saying it won't go that far. He said, quote, United went away in 2022 and got the architects to come up with a load of proposals for Old Trafford. And that was for everything, including knocking it down and starting it up again. They went away and did that and came back with all the different proposals at a cost of north of £1 billion for some of them. 250 million pounds is not enough now. According to people I've spoken to, it is not enough to knock down the Sir Bobby Charlton stand, and given the increases in costs and what that would entail. So basically he's saying, look, even that 250 million quid, it's not going to be a lot. And that just goes to show just the state that Manchester United are actually in. So don't get it twisted or mistaken that like this is, what INEOS are in and things are resolved, things are done. It's like the work's just barely started, for what everything that Man United need. And then when you think about January, I agree with you. I don't think we go through January and there's no new Manchester United players, because I do think there will be. But I think it'll just be but I think it'll be like last year.
Like a loan or something.
Yeah, I think it'd be like last year again, because we had no money last year, didn't we? And we found a way. So I think that, and it must be stressed, those two signings weren't necessarily because United wanted to. It was because they had to.
And it's the only way as well.
Sabitzer, Ericsson got injured, so it was like we got to bring in Sabitzer last day of the window.
Because we probably wouldn't have even got him.
No, Weghorst, it was kind of like, well, Martial's injured again, so we got to get someone in. So we got, and Ronaldo left as well, remember? So it was. So
on that, couldn't we flip that and say if everyone gets back through January, which looks obviously it's fingers crossed. I mean, we've been riddled with injuries, but Ericsson's back. I think there's like 6 more to come back, isn't there? You're looking at Harry Maguire. He'll be back fairly soon. He's solid. Martial, I know, obviously, I think it was illness, isn't it? So he's not even injured, but he'll be back soon. Yeah. You look at Martinez, he'll be back. Casemiro, he'll be back. Ericsson's back already. Malasia's, what happened to Malacia, actually?
He had a setback, but they said he'd be back early in the new year, so they were sort of saying January as well.
So do you think that, because obviously, like you said, it's a good point you made, which I actually forgot. Those two signings were actually emergency. It weren't like we wanted to. It was like you said, it's because Martial couldn't play. And then Ericsson got injured when Andy Carroll done him in it. So then we went and got Sabitzer. And Mount's coming back. Mm-hmm. So actually, really, Owen, if you think about it, if those players come back okay,
factor in the schedule as well, because remember this time last year too, not only did those players get injured, but we had Premier League, Europa League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup. We were still in every competition, so it was needs must. Whereas,
and we're not now. We're at 2 already.
Fast forward 12 months, we're playing less games. Players are coming back, and we've got no more money, and we've got this,
INEOS
acquisition thing happening.
Yeah.
Like, not to defend guys or anything like that, because I'm not, but you can see why there would almost be a reluctance from people sort of going, well, while this is going on and whilst we're getting our sort of feet sorted, there's kind of no point, maybe, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, unless something bad happens in terms of injuries, which, look, I mean, we've had so many injuries this season, that's entirely possible that something could happen. I mean, they still do
get injured in January or whatever.
They still do say strikers, don't they? You know, they're still saying, well, you know, maybe a striker, you know, to support Højlund because Martial was still, you know,
I wouldn't mind that out of, you know, I mean, central midfield, I think when everyone's back, like you said, you add Mount, you add Eriksen, you add Casemiro. That's 3 more, which essentially,
we do have a lot of midfielders. That's what's
we've got a lot. I mean, essentially, we had a lot of options, and now Mainu's in there as the legit. Like, we want him to pretty much start most of the games, but obviously it's his first season, but he's going to play a lot. So that's legitimately 3 starters in Mount, Casemiro, and Eriksen, depending on what game it is. 3 solid first teamers is what I mean. Then you sort of start seeing maybe Scott get reduced. Bruno's back in, obviously. Amrabat's got his role, but going to be in and out when those 3 come back for sure. When Casemiro, Eriksen, and Mount get back, we might not see much of the other ones who've been filling in. So yeah, I do agree with the forward one though, because like you said, Martial's not reliable anyway. He is a different option to Højlund. But if you could get a sort of emergency loan or something like that, then yeah, Ahmad's coming back as well. But I don't know. I feel like could he get loaned out?
I wouldn't be shocked. I was going to say I wouldn't be shocked. People
that
forget
was the plan.
with Ahmad.
That was always the plan.
Exactly, that was the plan, and now he's just getting back in time for the January window.
Yeah, and he does actually need football. Like his next development, I want him to get a loan in the Premier League. Go play from here to August. If it's, I don't know, Bournemouth or Sheffield United or
Luton,
you know, Luton would be good. Who else? You know, not Palace actually. They got too good there. But you get my drift. You know, mid-table or someone like that who's doing all right. Yeah. And BJ agrees with you, and he says, considering our financial state, thanks to our inability to offload mediocre players, I can't see us making any signings other than loans. I think we all agree that, other than loans, it's definitely not going to be anything permanent.
And I think also with that must be said, and this is the mistake we can't do that I think some fans did last January, is that so certain players become available because that's always what happens in January, right? Last year it was like Cody Gakpo's available.
Why aren't we going for them?
And then we go, why aren't we going for them? And then so Chelsea will sign them or Liverpool sign them, and we go, damn it, why did we miss out on those players? You have to kind of take a step back and go, we were never in for them. We were never in for them in the first place. And you can be maybe frustrated at the financial situation and be like, this is shit. Why are we like this? Man United, we can't afford these players and all that kind of that's I think a valid gripe. But like I remember last season, people get so angry with the João Felix, missing out on it. Wow, why did we do that? And you sort of go, well, that was literally throwing money into a black hole. I mean, it was like 20-odd million loan or something, wasn't it? And at Chelsea thought it was a Hail Mary attempt to save their season. Didn't do nothing. With Man United, he'd have probably done better at United because last season we were a good performing team, Erik ten Hag and all that kind of stuff. But like it was never on the cards. You know what I mean? That one just was never on the cards. So there will be players that are available in January. There'll be players that move. Your Ivan Tonys might move in January. You never know. But we're just unfortunately. And you can say standards and you can say, why are you accepting it? I'm just trying to live in reality. Like we ain't that big, 50 million pounds, 60 million pound signing. We're just not making it in January. We're not.
We're not. And what would be interesting as well, in terms of rage, I mean, I've seen the links today. I'm sure you guys have of Todibo sort of going to Spurs or interest from Spurs. There's a lot of rumors in the Spurs community that Todibo wants to go and join Ange. And, if things like that happen as well, under this bit, we will lose our mind. I mean, the Mirror,
that's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, the Mirror have said, Man United target, Jean-Claude Todibo is keen on a move to Tottenham, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe could block the transfer. There's little mini stories that could start appearing. Come on, Sir Jim, don't let him go there, block it. Come to Man United to get him over here on a loan or something. Work your magic, Sir Jim. There's things that just could happen that could look like bloody EastEnders soap scripts, but we have to wait and see, because that's another thing. Again, we're saying we don't have no money. We're saying we're expecting what we're expecting in January, but like you said, Owen, we're gonna get, or a lot of the fan base will probably, when we don't go for this guy, or we see Spurs making moves and Arsenal and Liverpool, We will have to sit in our little box and remember why we are where we are. Be angry at it because we know how we got here and who's responsible for it. But it doesn't change throughout the month of January. There's no point. Like almost like what they were saying to me on the stream in the Liverpool game. I will say that back a little bit here. We do know what we are right now financially. We do know what is completely impossible to happen. We cannot go and spend 15, 20, 30, 40, 15, 50, 60, 70, 80 million pounds in January on one guy or anything like that. We cannot do it. But can we get creative with Sir Jim if he is about to come and he does do that and block him going there because he wants us to get to Debo in the summer, or he can do that. So let's see. Let's
put a bit of blocking. If the thing is that, if legitimately, I know you can say, well, he doesn't have the 25% of Man United yet, but it means that the owner of Nice, or the majority owner of Nice, I don't know what the split is there, but if there was like a thing where they go, hey, we're going to sell to Debo to Spurs, rightfully so, you'd be like, if you're Jim Ratcliffe, you go, well, don't do that. Well, let's wait a second. You know, let's see how things play out, sort of thing. And also, Nice are doing well in Liga. They'd be like, no, let's wait till the end of the season. Let's see if we can push for these different competitions. Although it must be stressed, given how they are doing this season. I don't know what that's going to look like for like UEFA competitions next year. By the way, like that's going to be something.
Well, we'll probably be the ones who won't make it a problem because we won't get in the Champions League.
Exactly,
that is true.
But then, like people are saying, if we say we got Europa League, right?
Yeah,
and then Nice are in the Champions League,
then
but
they
drop down. Like, what happens? But it's the same kind of situation with like City with Girona in La Liga. They're doing really well at the moment. Like, what happens? That's what the multi-club sort of approach, or the multi-club model to ownership. It's almost like it didn't take into account success, which is quite bizarre. So they've got to kind of figure that out, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, certainly, because it's kind of one of those ones that people keep going, well, that'll have to be addressed, but they're kind of sort of waiting for both parties to be successful first, because if they're not successful, they're like, oh, forget it, But I don't think it's not going to jeopardize the deal or anything like that.
No. And just to give you an update, if you're thinking, oh, what was that Jean-Claude Todibo situation? His name is Jean-Claude Todibo, isn't it? Was it?
I believe so.
Yeah. Anyway, it's an article in the Mail, and they said, according to the Mail, Spurs have held talks over a 35 million deal to sign a French defender, who's said to be keen.
Jean-Claire.
My French is not the best.
Jean-Claude Todibo.
Okay, Jean-Claude Todibo. Spurs have held talks over a 35 million pound move to sign a French defender who is said to be keen on a move to North London. Nice will be desperate to keep hold of Todibo in January as they bid to keep on PSG's tails and qualify for Champions League. Because that's another thing. I know, like, it's the Premier League, it's big money, it's Spurs. I know it's Spurs, but you get what I'm saying. But they want to, keep going. If anything, they probably want to add, in a great position. Although Ratcliffe would, and this is interesting, they are popular. Although Ratcliffe would have the ability to block any deal with Tottenham, that would in turn hand United a boost, with the Red Devils planning to sign a new centre-back next summer. So, it is interesting. Obviously, they talk about Raphael Varane's contract set to expire next June. Todibo could replace him. And he idolized Varane growing up. I'm inspired by Thiago Silva and Virgil van Dijk. They're the ones I most watched as well. I was also inspired by Varane, etc., etc. Of course, he's French. He's gonna. He's a
so are you there, Flex? You're inspired by Varane.
I am inspired by Varane. He is my favorite. I do love Raphael Varane. Everybody knows this. He even hugged me. He hugged me.
Oh. What? And he didn't crumble into. When did he hug you?
No, we lost the next game, but he didn't get injured. This was when before the FA Cup final in the week, and we interviewed Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now everyone can say that it's my fault we lost and all that, but it's not.
He's had a rough time of it since then, to be honest.
No, he hasn't. He started the season. The whole team was crap.
He's had a very rough. He's had a very rough time.
Fine in pre-season. No,
he hugged you, and then when was that? No. June? About June? May? June?
No. And then I hugged all the players walking into Burnley. We won 1-0, and everyone said, "Yeah, true."
And the next 6 months were kind of sort of the worst of his sort of United career. Really.
No. So that was last season. No.
I know
this season, I don't know who's got hold of him. Maybe because I didn't give him a hug. Maybe because I didn't give him a hug, he fell out the team. How about that?
No.
How about that? How do you explain him coming back in now? I saw him the other day too.
It takes a while to sort of wash off. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. We're gonna go there again. Right, moving on.
Very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. I mean, well, and this bit probably will be very quickly because we're like, oh, come on. INEOS before Christmas.
Well, I thought we were talking about Luke Shaw. I'll go back.
Oh, sorry. Let's go. No.
Well, no.
Do you know what?
Because we kind of talked about the INEOS before Christmas thing, didn't we? Because basically that, that's what Mike Keegan was sort of saying.
Forget it.
It might be, he spoke to his sources in the US and all that kind of stuff. That was it.
Luke Shaw.
Let's talk about Luke Shaw, because he's been talking after the 0-0 draw at Anfield. To be honest, kind of saying things that we kind of already know and we kind of expect to hear after the game. Nevertheless, he was asked whether or not the 7-0 defeat was brought up. And he said, quote, no, I don't think we needed to speak about it. I think we all know what happened. We all know how we felt. It wasn't something I think the manager was right not to bring it up. It's in the past. It's in the memories that will live with us for a long time. Again, this was with Betfred, is an interview that he did. Obviously, gamble aware. And getting the draw at Anfield, Luke Shaw said, quote, really important, especially with the results we've been having recently, conceding a lot of goals. To go there, especially away at Anfield, what happened there last year will all be remembered very well. It was one of the worst days in my footballing career and for all of us. But still saying that it wasn't actually brought up. He said we could all remember the results, but I think it was good not to speak about it and just focus solely on the game. It's a new game. It was a chance for us to go in the right step, and I think the result was good. He also said we could have maybe snatched it at the end of the game. Of course, they had more possession. They had a few chances, but more from set plays, not really too many from open play. I think we can be happy with that. But of course, I think when we look back at the game now, for me especially, we could have won that game. Not bad flex for a team that parked the bus and just, didn't really get involved, didn't want to win the game.
The team that parked the bus versus the team that really wanted to win. Look at the chances. Who was the more likely to win the game? You'd probably say a draw was a fair result. It wasn't like, how did Liverpool not score? Amazing saves from Onana. Oh my God, what a miss. Darwin Núñez missed an open goal again. We should have beat you 5-0. And that's the thing that really hurts these Liverpool fans. They can't say any of that. They can't say we should have won that game because they didn't have the chances to. They could say they had enough possession to where they should have been able to do more with it, but they didn't. And the reason why they didn't was because a mixture of how we set up, which really frustrated them, and they wanted to lean on, the Anfieldness of it will come, we will score. No, not today, mate. That's just what it was. It's as simple as that. And then we had a couple of looks at the goal, which on another day, probably we would have nicked it. Proper smash and grab, as they call it. But it was on as even. And actually, on the balance of play, forget the 34 shots where you're kicking it into people's shins because they're standing 1 yard away and stat padding the shots. Just look at the quality of chances. Van Dijk had an open header. It was right at Onana. Wasn't like
you're asking big questions.
If it goes in, you're asking big questions. Trent had a shot that just went the other side of the post. Right, he had a shot off target. Cool. Konate had a header that went over or something.
There wasn't huge.
Like there was nothing.
It was a poor game.
Nothing. It was a crap. Exactly. It was a crap game.
It was a poor game.
So it was too like I think even Gabby said it. 0-0 Super Sunday. Give us our money back. It wasn't even a good game for the neutral. Good, yeah. There you go. And that's what Liverpool need to understand. They played their part in that. They played that wasn't Man United stinking it out. That was Mo Salah, who's supposed to entertain and get people off the edge of their seats having a shit game. That was Luis Diaz, who's electrifying and really, really good, having a shit game. That's Darwin Núñez having a shit game. That's the subs not having an impact. That's Szoboszlai, who's amazing, 2-footed, can score from far, hit one flipping like a 3-point conversion for St. Helens. What? So Liverpool played their part in that game being shit. And it's almost like all the blame's on Man United.
It is funny because there is such like a deflection game, I think, going on from Liverpool fans. And actually, to be fair, the media, because what I felt like I saw yesterday was the media just having basically a massive hissy fit that they couldn't criticize United for losing 7 or 8-0 because that's what they expect. So everyone expected. I don't understand the logic of everyone, including us. We all thought we were going to lose. We all thought we were going to get smashed. And then because we didn't get smashed and because we didn't lose the game, That's embarrassing for Man United that we didn't lose at Anfield, considering that everyone else that's gone to Anfield this season has lost. Liverpool have won every single game. The fact that we stopped Liverpool scoring, we're the only team to stop doing that, to stop them scoring this season. That's embarrassing for us. Like, what kind of logic? And I get like, they go, oh, Man United, it's honestly, I said it yesterday, Match Day Reloaded. I'll say it again here. It's my biggest bugbear, this sort of gatekeeping of how football's supposed to be played. When did we get to this point whereby what you have to do in football matches is you have to go and just relentlessly attack, even if you're the inferior team, which we'll hold our hands up. Absolutely we are. We're shit. We've seen it all season. We're rubbish. Particularly defensively and offensively. In the Champions League, we scored goals. We can't score goals in the Premier League. We lost 3-0 at home to Bournemouth in our last Premier League game. We lost the last 2 home games in a row against Bayern Munich as well. Bayern Munich played in like first gear, didn't do anything in the game. So we go to Anfield, top of the league, by the way, when we went there as well. Any team, whether you're second or 20th, if you go to Anfield and you don't lose and you get a 0-0 draw, everyone would take that. And I've seen so much revisionist history about like Sir Alex Ferguson times where they go, Sir Alex would never. Sir Alex Ferguson would go to Anfield and get a 0-0 draw and rip your hand off. He would always say, hardest game of the season. If you can get a point, leave there, take it, no problem. Go back to Old Trafford with that. And this is like, again, this gatekeeping of it's anti-football. You're supposed to play this certain way. Wait, see what it is.
And get
what you're supposed to do, Flex, you're supposed to go to Anfield and lose. That's what you're supposed to do. And if you don't lose, if you don't get smashed, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing for you. How dare you? How dare you have to meet all of these articles that were written out on all these tweets? How dare they have to stay in the drafts? How dare I spent time on that? Yeah. I spent time writing those things. I spent time preparing these speeches that I was going to say on the radio. You've ruined my day. And now I've got nothing to talk about, nothing to write about. So what I'm going to do instead is do what Graham Souness did and go, there's nothing wrong with Liverpool. If there was something wrong about Liverpool, I'd criticise them. Criticise how they had 34 shots. They couldn't score, Graham. Don't criticise us. Why are you deflecting all of this on us? It's embarrassing for United. Embarrassing for you. You couldn't beat us. We're rubbish. Like, you couldn't beat us. Everyone else has done it away from home. Top half. The only points we've got away from home under Erik ten Hag against those top 10 sides are Spurs and Liverpool. That's it. That's all we've got. Can't even include Chelsea in that because they're bottom half. And they couldn't do that. Top of the league, Liverpool. Get out of it.
It's ridiculous. And you're spot on. And it's like, you don't want to keep going on about it. But it was just so funny yesterday. The types of, James Redmond. This is another thing. James Redmond was at me on DR. Again, because I rattled them, down the lens, talking about the Van Dijk thing and all that thing, whatever it is. And I said, blame yourselves. The truth is, you're not blaming yourselves. And what you get is, oh, how the mighty have fallen. The mighty Man United, 0-0, park the bus at a thing, and they're celebrating it like they won a trophy. Oh, they're so embarrassing. I'm sorry. How the mighty have fallen. There's a reason why before the game you think you're going to win 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-0. Hold on, let me get it straight. I'm going to say after the game, after a draw, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Look at them celebrating a draw. So if we're that good and the mighty haven't fallen, forget the last 10 years and all the other things that have happened when you're cussing. Forget even last year. How the mighty have fallen. You won 7-0 last time you played us.
Yeah, that's how the mighty have fallen.
That's how the mighty have fallen. Yeah. You've got mugs. You got Christmas jumpers saying 7-0. So we know how the mighty have fallen. Man United fans are aware how the mighty have fallen. We've just gone out the Champions League to a group of Galatasaray, Copenhagen, and Bayern Munich. Bottom. Conceded the most ever goals for an English team in the group stages. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
We just got smashed by Bournemouth at home. We
just got smashed by Bournemouth in the last Premier League game.
It could have been 6-0 in that game.
I'm so shocked. I can't believe this is the version of Man United that it is. Only all of a sudden you've got it into your thick brains that Man United aren't good. So now you want to go back to that statement. Are you crazy?
And why should we be embarrassed, Flex? We should be embarrassed. How dare we celebrate a point away from home? It's not as if they would. Oh wait, yeah, they did. They did it at the Etihad not even that long ago. Remember Jurgen Klopp? Let's go to the crowd. Way against West Brom, one of his first games. Let's remember '99. We were 2-1 up at Anfield. Paul Ince scores 2-2. They celebrated that like they won the title. As Roy Keane said it perfectly. Got very short memories, some of these people, because I remember during my lifetime, a lot of the time, if Liverpool came to Old Trafford and got a point, which wasn't that often, they'd be brilliant. But a great point. Because guess what? Man United were like the best team in England at the time. Liverpool right now, one of the best teams in England. And especially when you're rubbish. I mean, when we went into Anfield, we're eighth in the league, going to top of the league. You get a point. Arsenal going to Anfield at the weekend. If they get a 0-0 draw, they'll be praised. They'll be praised for it.
They will be praised, and they'll be praised because it would be attacking, and there would be loads of shots, and Liverpool would have had chances, Arsenal would have had chances, all of that stuff. It would be. That's what it would be.
Yeah, that's what it'll be. It'll be. I tell you what, it was good by Arsenal. That's a title-winning performance, Flex. Going away,
don't lose.
Don't lose. It's a title-winning performance, and I'm not. And this is what's weird too, is I've noticed quite a few people, either Liverpool fans, people in the media, trying to put words in United fans' mouths by saying, "Oh, no, I guess they think they're going to win the title now." No, we've never definitely not. If you watch that game, I said it yesterday during the full view. Honestly, if Liverpool played 10% better at the weekend, they'd have beaten us. Like, we weren't good. We still weren't good. Liverpool, though, they weren't that much better.
It wasn't. And that's the problem, that they're not looking at.
It was just bad game. I said it yesterday, that if we go to West Ham, next away game, I think if we play like that, I think we'll really struggle. Because I think West Ham would be more clinical with their chances, in all honesty. So it's not me sitting there going, "Man United are back, and this is a big turning point." We've done that. We've done that this season.
And the very next 2 games, or even 5, it's just tough. Like, we could be back to, like, we're going to get more, like, problems. Like, we are. We are.
It's not as if. So it's not. I think they're trying to sort of play it up like we now believe that we're back. Like, no, we don't. We're saying you're in the mud because we're so in the mud, and you still couldn't beat us on your own patch. And you were going, like, the turnaround. It's probably the fastest turnaround I've ever seen, Flex, in terms of revisionist history. We talked about revisionist history a lot this season, but the turnaround is so fast because whole week AGT was on the channel, predicted 6-0. And in fairness to him, he's one of the few that says, "I hold my hands up. I predicted that. I'm in the mud." But a lot of people were predicting that 5, 6, 7, 8-0 record stuff. And then full time goes, blows the whistle. You should be ashamed of yourself. Sorry. Did you not just predict all week how terrible we are?
We're the ones who should be embarrassed, apparently.
Yeah,
honestly,
for not losing.
And as well, by the way, I know everyone's got their feelings about Arsenal, but obviously we all admit that Liverpool are our biggest rival, so we hate them the most over any team, right? So we all agree on that. I know KG's a bit different because he hates us, but as a United fan, we all agree that we hate Liverpool the most, right? So by Virgil van Dijk's, analysis of the game, cool. You've got Arsenal coming next. Should be nice and open and exactly the game you want to see. So we should see Liverpool dominate and win the game. That's what we should see. Because that's the type of game you want. There's definitely going to be a team there in Mikel Arteta's team who wants to win. There's definitely going to be a team who's going to play the right type of football. There's not going to be any anti-football with Declan Rice, Marshall in midfield, and Gabriel Jesus doing a madness, and Saka and Martinelli doing a madness. No anti-football there, mate. So that should be a comfortable evening / afternoon, day, whatever, for Liverpool, and they should win comfortably. And if you don't, shame on you. Shame on you.
If you didn't let us win, Flex, if you don't play the right way, which is let us win, then you should be embarrassed. How dare you come to Anfield and not lose? How disrespectful.
I hope, do you know what? I know Arsenal, like, it's always funny if they get battered or they lose or whatever, which doesn't happen often, but it's always funny because, the people that we know and we can have banter. But I hope Arsenal destroy them. I hope Arsenal mash them up. I do.
And it's also as well, it's like, there's another thing I don't get as well. It's almost like, this is why I say short memories. It's like they forget that one of their more recent successful managers in Rafa Benitez wasn't known for playing pragmatic defensive football. They know about going away from home and grabbing 0-0 draws. They know about that. So why are they then playing up going, it's out of order, anti-football? It's like the football didn't begin and end with Jurgen Klopp playing at Liverpool. And I guarantee there'll be points this season where they go away from home and they have to scrape a draw and they'll go, well, I tell you what, sometimes that's what it's like. If they could go away to some team in Europe, they go away to
look at Luton. They drew against Luton away. Yeah, I didn't even bring this up. They drew against Luton in a game where, all right, they had a few chances first and then didn't take it. And Luton went 1-0 up. And right to the death, big up to Luis Diaz under the circumstances of how he did it with what he was going through with his dad and stuff. Came off the bench and got them an equaliser. Why were they not embarrassed that at the bottom of the table, Luton, they went there and bloody couldn't, they've got a couple of decent results, or they're hard to play there against there. But is Kenilworth Road this new fortress where Luton haven't lost a game in nearly 50 games? Is it? No. It's just how the game went. You drew.
I just saw.
And they predicted they'll win that 4-0 as well, by the way.
Yeah, I just saw a big sort of pity party from Liverpool and the media yesterday. And honestly, I don't even really think, I think the sort of pushback from United fans isn't more so like, oh, it's an amazing result or anything like that. It's more just going, can you just at least acknowledge that United would, that anyone would take that? Because frankly, it's bizarre, actually. It's really what it is. It's bizarre because, and I know that sometimes people that aren't United fans can get, you always think everyone's against you and you're always looking for these conspiracies, but just look at it. Just look at the reaction yesterday. It's literally any other team in the Premier League would have gone to Anfield, got a 0-0 draw. They'd have been widely praised, even if they didn't play well. In fact, if they didn't play well, they'd be praised even more. They'd say, I tell you what, you didn't play well, but you got a point at Anfield. That's not bad going. But if it's Man United, you start bringing up, money spent. You start bringing up how much the players are worth. You start bringing up their wages, which, by the way, valid things to bring up. But again, this isn't like it's new news to Manchester United. We go,
we cuss it every single day. We want it to change.
We're saying, look at Anthony. Look how he's 80 million quid. We're saying, I can't believe Rafael Varane's just come back in. He's on 300k. He's won, Champions Leagues. Why has he just come back in now? We're saying, I tell you what, McTominay and Amrabat, they can't pass the ball. We're saying all of that. This isn't naive. We're just as shocked as you. But at the same time, we're going, that's a good result. We'll take it because nobody thought it would happen. But, that would require some kind of, logic and thought, which is.
And also, do you think if we would have lost that game 2-0, but had loads of chances and played it in the right way, what do you think do you think we would have got respect either from Liverpool fans or the media?
Of course not. Of course not. Of course, Flex, and it would have been that would have been Eric Ten Hag. You're naive. You bold fool. All this kind of stuff. We've done it. We've done it. And I, like I said, for me, I don't know if it really changes all that much from where we're at. You know what I mean? Obviously, you can hope that it's something to build upon. And I hope that maybe Ten Hag looks at that and goes, well, actually, when we play away from home, we should maybe be just a smidge more pragmatic because we're not that good. But would I be shocked if we went to West Ham at the weekend and lost? No, I wouldn't, because that's what we're like away from home. It's the most shocking thing is that we didn't lose and we didn't concede.
I'll tell you what,
that's stunning.
Away from the Liverpool game now, because we have to start, turning our attention towards. Usually after sort of midweek, but it's a tough game that is coming up.
Really tough. They're playing really well. Did you see him play against Wolves?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and obviously Wolves are rubbish, and that Bentley keeper's awful as well. But Wolves on their day are a pretty good team. And it's weird because the game before that they got absolutely smashed 5-0, but at home at London Stadium, and now they're starting to sort of knit together these attacking players. Obviously, look what Kudus is doing. What Jared Bowen's on, you know what Ward-Prowse is on in terms of his delivery, and Paquetá's playing out of his skin now. I think he got 3 assists the other day. They are starting. I don't want to say starting to. They've got a lot of results like that where they're at it. Alvarez and Souček are doing all right. You got Ward-Prowse in the 10, just behind Bowen supplying him.
The Ward-Prowse thing worries me.
Paquetá, his peak.
The Ward-Prowse thing does really worry me, because that's one thing I thought against Liverpool is they had so many corners, and all of their corners were pretty poor. You know what I mean? Not in good areas. And I think it was Gary Neville said on commentary.
Right on.
Exactly. Gary Neville said that on commentary. He said, I'm surprised they haven't put one on Onana's head
him,
because
didn't they?
yeah, because in the first half, Onana grew into the game pretty well towards the end, but first like 5 minutes or whatever, he was shaky as anything.
Yeah, it was.
And it's David Moyes, like it's old school tactics, smart tactics. Get a set piece, get a corner. If it's an in swinging free kick, put it on the goalkeeper, make him do something. Even towards the end of the game, we see when Onana came out to punch it and kind of just didn't do anything, right?
Yeah,
so
he couldn't do anything. Punch someone in the back of the head, I think he did.
Yeah, so that really worries me. Midday kickoff as well, lunchtime kickoff.
Would you take a draw?
Oh, of course I would, Flex. Away from home. So yeah, I'd take a point.
Oh, these difficult games is like you want to just get out of there unscathed, but yeah, it'd be a really good win if we can get it, because you don't know how we're attacking wise and where we're at. You'd hope that maybe a couple of players are back. Well, obviously Bruno will be back in. Eriksen might be back. Don't think he'll start. Hopefully Kobbie Mainoo plays. But then what does he do with that midfield? Do you think Erik ten Hag could reward? McTominay just captained us to a draw at Anfield. Does he make changes to that midfield? Does he take out Kobbie Mainoo?
Bruno will come back in.
Bruno's definitely come back in.
It's a case of
because Kobbie Mainoo wouldn't have played if Bruno was there.
Yeah, but
in that game.
It is funny though, because I mean, as much as we say like, worried about it, and I am worried about it, but what is funny is that 3-0 win at Everton looks so strange now, doesn't it? Because how well Everton are playing, and it's not as if they weren't playing well at the time, because they were. And
even after we scored an amazing goal, they were better than us till half time.
Yeah, it came a bit out of sort of nowhere, didn't it? That result. So I guess there is a possibility. There is the possibility that maybe not that, but we could go away 3-0. But there is the possibility that we could do that. Maybe some of our away performances this season actually haven't been horrible.
Yeah, it's at home.
Newcastle was bad. Newcastle was bad, obviously away from home.
Tottenham, but again, and Arsenal. It's like they're annoying ones because we should have scored against Spurs in a dominant period, didn't, and then made stupid mistakes. That was a poor performance because you only played good for 20 minutes. Arsenal go 1-0 up. Then
we were a bit unfortunate in that game.
Yeah,
we were a bit unfortunate in that game.
Then we capitulated near the end.
Was a terrible game. We just kind of
nicked it,
ground it out. Sheffield United, kind of the same, sort of just ground that one out. Burnley was kind of the same. I mean, what was actually quite staggering against Liverpool, honestly, and this is what I could see happening on Saturday too, is that we were almost so bad that we kind of brought Liverpool down to our level a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing, isn't it? Sometimes when you're playing sort of stuff, you can sort of just drag the game down. And we have seen that United do that away from home this season. Just sort of make it a dirty game. Just make it really sort of rough. And maybe that's what we need to do.
They just got a good set. I mean, I know they're not perfect every game. They're not. But, Kufal, Zuma, Aged, Emerson, left back, Souček and Alvarez. I mean, Souček's rubbish, but he's actually having a good season. But him and Alvarez now is just a bit of because Alvarez does a lot of running. He's, Erik ten Hag knows him extremely well. He's another one. Do you know what I mean? Kudus. Was Erik ten Hag there then? I think he was.
Yeah, he must have been. Yeah, must have been.
Yeah, Kudus has been there a good couple of seasons, hasn't he?
I think so.
Before. He knows him very well. When was he there? He was there from 2020 to 2023. Yeah, so he would have been. So he knows Kudus very well. And then you look at the threats that they got, like, Paquetá. Listen, Paquetá is playing. He's balling now. He's balling. He is. I don't know if it's because the move fell through to Man City. You know what I mean? He wants to go in January or make sure he has a good season. And he's just committed. He's just a good player.
What happened with that, though? Because it fell through because of those, like, the investigations or whatever, didn't it? Yeah.
Probably still going on in this back.
Yeah, it was. Maybe it was just an ongoing, a bit like Ivan Toney, because that was going on for a while, I suppose, wasn't it?
So, exactly, before he actually got charged with anything and banned. So, and maybe,
They got players, no doubt, West Ham. Yeah, they got players.
They got players, man.
And to be fair, you mentioned some of those players: Paquetá, Kudus, even Alvarez. Yeah, right now of United,
all get into Man United.
They get in the team.
Jared Bowen would start on the right instead of Anthony. So, what do you mean?
What's their front line again? Let's have a look at this.
Their front line is Kudus, Paquetá, Bowen, and Ward-Prowse in the 10 or just off the front.
Hey, Ward-Prowse, They've
been playing Bowen up front. Yeah. And
I think it's a travesty that bigger teams weren't in for James Ward-Prowse, honestly.
Yeah. And this is without, Ben Rama's not even getting off the bench, mate.
I tell you what, their front four, of Kudus, Ward-Prowse, Paquetá, Jared Bowen.
Big problems.
Yeah.
Big problems. If we don't defend properly and midfield's not set up right or whatever, big problems. So also, as we finish off, got some good content coming out, actually. Obviously, I do the podcast over at 5 with Anton Ferdinand, good friend of mine now. Me and him are going to take a trip to the London Stadium. I think it's booked in for tomorrow, so hopefully it all goes well. And some potential good stuff on match day as well, and pre-match. So hopefully there's some stuff going on there. Hopefully there's some stuff going on. You know, I'm always trying to push the boundaries, bring you guys some stuff a little bit different. So yeah, and as you know, of course I'll do a preview round. As you know, he's chucking it. I mean, he came on the channel the other day. Obviously, he keeps saying he doesn't love Jadon Sancho. Keeps saying that. No, I agree with it. But at every moment, he always goes back to Jadon Sancho and says Ten Hag didn't do. You know, and I just keep shutting him down. We argue about that all the time. But
my favorite comment on that video is someone said he sounds and looks like Rio Ferdinand. I went, probably genetics. Probably genetics, that one. I feel like might have something to do with it. Yeah. was the last name Ferdinand not like a tip off as well?
Yeah, exactly. And lastly, for the should Gabby Agbonlahor come on for a Villa preview? 62% say yes. Oh. 62% say yes. There was a lot of people saying no, don't give him a platform. But then a lot of you were saying yes. I don't know I don't know how busy he is or schedules and stuff like that. Obviously, it's around Christmas time. It's Boxing Day. Actually, I don't even think it's possible because after we play West Ham, then it all attention to Christmas. Maybe he can come on. I don't know. Now you said yes, I will now make the call to try. I will definitely do that.
If that is possible, I would love to see a KG conversation.
Oh, I'll try. Listen, I will get KG involved in this.
Yeah, I think
if anything, I might even just let them two do it.
Let's go. I mean, you might have to mediate because there might have to be some.
Actually, yeah, I'll go in the middle and put. Yeah,
you know,
we'll see if we can do it online. So yeah, leave that with me. I will try to get it done. And yeah, we will see you then. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. EAFC is back today. EAFC is back today. Hopefully with the help of Owen in terms of helping with the technology beforehand. Maybe the director of football might, because obviously we do seasons mode now, so it's less about buying players and stuff like that. But was you on the last one?
I was on the last one.
It was really good.
It's more to allow you to concentrate, you know, because sometimes you can get distracted by like the chat or by super chats or whatever. And importantly, make sure that you, the audience, are involved too, because there's a lot of moving parts with that production. You know what I mean? And sometimes to hold you guys accountable, because both of you go through waves of form and losing your head and just sort of madness. And sometimes you have to call it out, you know?
Yeah, and the last one weren't bad actually. Frankie Fasthand says, "Thank you for the super chat." Says you have to understand you're dealing with a fan base who believe coming second to City is a trophy. They've never been mighty enough to fall in the Premier League. Because they always say that we come, 98 points, whatever it was. We didn't win it that year, mate. City were the best. There you go. So FIFA in a couple of hours. So look out for that. Get involved. Come and have a laugh. Who knows what will happen in that? And I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted with the type of content we've got coming up, and hopefully it's going to be really exciting. Yeah, take care, guys. We'll see you again very, very soon. Peace.